Yo, what is up, podcast listeners? You tuned into the Dom Jackson Experience, and I have the guest, the one and only legendary Mr. Steve Omari. Steve, how you feeling today, bro?
I'm doing good, Dom. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you on here, have you out here in warm and sunny San Diego.
Honor's all mine.
Steve and I go way back to middle school. Steve's actually one of my first friends I made out in Cherry Hill when I moved there. So it's a very important person in the time frame of Dom Jackson. So it really is great to have you on the pod, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me on.
So how you feeling so far? You got the professional voice on right now.
He said, you're going to be on the podcast. I'm like, how many subscribers you have? Said, I have X amount. I'm like, oh, okay. I got to speak professionally on this one.
He came like, oh, well, hello there. Here with
Hi.
the interview voice. Afternoon, Mrs. Johnson.
Well, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, man. We've come a long way from where we were before. Very
really
long
have.
way.
Yeah.
Very long way. So, you being a doctor of physical therapy, shout out to the doctors out there,
Thank you.
As far as, your whole process of you becoming kind of from where you were before to where you are now, can you describe some of that for me? Like some of your schooling, some of your motivations, kind of like with just your backstory overall.
Yeah, so it is, the biggest advice I give to people, especially people that want to just do anything in the healthcare field, is you need a plan. You don't the process to, being a healthcare professional is long, that it just doesn't happen by accident. So I went to undergrad at Felician College. It's now Felician University. And actually, when I was getting recruited for cross country, the coach told me about a 3+3 program where I spent 3 years in undergrad, and then I spent 3 years in graduate school. And when I'm done, I'll have my doctorate of physical therapy. And then from there, it was just a matter of doing the research, finding out all the hours I needed, anything else, any extracurricular things I need to do on the side, keeping it nice and simple and just sticking to the plan. And that's how I did it.
What were some of the kind of like the struggles you went through? Was it more learning the information, timing? What was some of the things as far as your process? What were some of the things you went through?
Honestly, the biggest struggle for me was just balancing everything. Because, in high school, especially the high school where we went, everything is very structured. People tell you when to eat. Then you get into college and it's like, good luck. No one tells you anything. So, balancing sports, other things on the side, your social life, and then school at the same time. That was it. But, once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what kind of physical therapist are you?
So right now, I'm kind of like your general physical therapist. I haven't specialized in anything. I do have my doctorate of physical therapy. When I was in school, I had rotations in the clinical settings that I had rotations in was outpatient, acute, and subacute. But since graduating, I've worked 2 years mostly working with the geriatric population, your older folks, and I do home care, and I work in a subacute, which is like a rehab facility. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So with working with the geriatric and the older population, I don't know how many old people are listening to the podcast, but from things that you've experienced, things that you see on the job, what are some things that like you feel like a lot of people have conditioned themselves into being, I guess, like some of the things that people end up, some of the movement, mobility issues that people go through, like older in life? What are some things we can do now? Like you can start younger to help you be better when you're older.
Yeah, so the biggest thing I tell a lot of people, and keep in mind, just because I work with geriatrics, I eventually plan on, in the future, probably going back and working with athletes. But the biggest lesson I've taken away from geriatrics is, at the end of the day, you are going to be answerable for the type of life that you lived. So, we live in a society where you really don't have to move a lot. if you don't want to work out, you don't have to. You know, if you don't want to stay in shape, you don't have to. You can have everything delivered. You know, everything is catered to you.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, everything adds up. And, you know, very quickly, you know, with the type of patients I work with, I could see who the people that had an active life, the people that stayed in shape, you know, they bounce back very quick. You know, I could have a person, you can have two people, both get a knee replacement. One within 2 weeks, you know, they're done with home care, they go to outpatient, they're fine. And another one needs way more care. So, you know, even though it doesn't seem like it, you know, in the future, you kind of have to be answerable for, you know, how you treated your body, you know, because it's all going to add up in the end.
How you treated your body. I like that a lot. And pretty much say the same thing when training as well. A lot of people kind of come with their own different things they do, and just like on the day-to-day on how you sit, how you sleep, all those things kind of factor in. So I imagine like training someone who's doing that for years to the point where like they're old, like it's definitely a whole new level of helping corrective exercise. So people like, I don't know, like looking at their phones, I imagine that's going to be a bigger problem in the future.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's actually the sort of non-clinical term for it. It's called tech neck.
Tech neck?
Tech neck, yes. Basically, when people look at their phones, the just how they look down at it, it puts a lot of strain on the neck. And in the future, that's going to be what a lot of PTs are treating. It's called tech neck. And, you know, people are already, like nowadays, people are already complaining about their neck because we've just been conditioned to just look down on our phones. And, you know, what I tell people is try looking down like that without a phone there and hold that position even for a couple minutes and you'll feel the strain on your neck. It's just not good for your neck, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Tech neck. I didn't know how to term.
It did, yeah.
Who makes these up? I definitely could have made up tech neck. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I have no idea who comes up with the terms.
What about the thumb? Is it like thumb, bum, thumb? Well, maybe not that.
The thumb is okay. The thumbs are okay. It's just the neck. Yeah.
So can you like what's like your daily day like as far as with clients and patients? What's that like that process like for you?
So most of my time is actually working in home care. The good thing with home care is the scheduling is very flexible because I create it. You know, I'm given a list of patients, or let's say I'm running low, I could call the office to get more patients. They give me names, you know, and their contact information. And then I call them and I set up, you know, when I'm going to, you know, come to their house and do an initial evaluation. You know, on average, I try to see at least 6 patients a day. That's going to 6 different houses. And you really don't know what you're going to expect. You know, I've been to some really nice, clean, just spacious homes, and I've been to the opposite of that. And those are definitely stories for another time.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, and then from, you know, I try to see around 6 people a day, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little bit less. And then, you know, with driving and documenting, the driving alone, because you got to think about it. If you're, you know, if it takes like anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes in between each house, that's going to add up. So, you know, it pretty much all comes out to a full work day. But the good thing is, you know, the scheduling is very flexible. So let's say, you know, I have like, there's an appointment or something I need, I could sort of play around with my schedule. Like instead of seeing 6, I'm going to see 4 today. You know, and then, you know, maybe see, you know, 8 another day, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have to like I guess you always have your reoccurring people, but do you end up almost like making the path? Like, do you have to like GPS your time? Do you make your own schedule? Do you also choose what time you see certain people? Like if you're like, oh, these people live 5 minutes apart, so I'm gonna put them close together. These people live 10 minutes apart, so I'll put this person here and this one there. Like, do you have control over your GPS, your distance, your timing, and who you see? Or is it all, as opposed to being like, computer tells you what to do, and then you just kind of just listen to the computer?
So the software that we have, we could excuse me. So the software that we have, it'll give us a recommendation, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm the clinician. You know, I pick what times I go to their house, but there's certain conditions that I just always have to be mindful of. So when I work with patients that, you know, have dementia, especially patients that, you know, have like severe dementia, there's something called sundowning, where, you know, later in the afternoon, in the evening, they're just, you know, they're not cooperative. They're really not going to do much. So it's like with those patients, I'll see them as early as I can, you know, and, you know, with certain other patients, maybe they're, you know, they're physically ready to go in the afternoon, you know, but, you know, I can make my own schedule. I'll take certain health, you know, certain health conditions into account. But other than that, I could pretty much do whatever I want with my schedule. Yeah.
Are there any common things you end up seeing with your day-to-day work, kind of things you end up fixing, the ailments?
So the biggest one with the population that I work with, because I work with patients that literally just got out of the hospital. Because there's different types of home care. There's like outpatient home care. The what I do is these are people that just came right out of the hospital.
Okay.
And my caseload, you know, it honestly depends. There'll be like phases where I go through where with most of the patients, it's deconditioning. There'll be, you know, another phase where it's all joint replacements. So it varies. Yeah.
It does vary. It's interesting. That's very interesting. And so you get in all different types of houses, all different types of people, all different types of levels of cleanliness. Like the dog usually put away when you walk in, or like the cat's at, like what, like, as far as like.
In the beginning, and they told me that they warned me. They're like, the more you work at this job, you will care. Because in the beginning, I was like, well, you know, I don't want to like throw off their routine. So, you know, if they have a cat or a dog, I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to come in. It's okay if they have the cat or the dog out, and I'll just, you know, do my job and leave. I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago, I was charged by a pit bull. It didn't attack. It didn't bite me or scratch me. It was playing, but it is strong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a big guy. You know, I'm 6'2". It almost knocked me down completely.
Oh shit!
So ever since that day, because you know I still did my job, but it hit me from that day that like that dog could have done whatever it wanted. You know, and they would have just gotten another PT out there, and you know that dog's not gonna pay for my medical bills. So I ever since that day, I was like, when I call a patient, I'm like, do you have any pets? They're like, oh, it's the cutest Chihuahua. I'm like, make sure it's contained. Make sure it's contained. And I got off lucky. I know I have colleagues. One colleague had to jumped on top of a table and stayed there and hoped that the animal wouldn't climb on the table. I have another one who they went into a house. They saw an empty cage and they're like, oh, what animal's supposed to be there? And they said, oh, it's a snake. And it's like the cage is empty. He ran out of the house. So after I don't play that anymore. I'm just like, nope. If you have an animal, I don't care how cute it is, you know, contain it or put it in a cage.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. What are some of the tests that you end up running for each person? You know, kind of to assess where they are moving wise. I know everything's different because each person's coming at different things. But are you cueing based more on like how they feel? Obviously, you don't know the report of what the surgery or whatever was, but you also gauge on how they feel, how certain muscles move. Like, what's like the assessment process when somebody's
So in general, especially with the specific type of home care I'm looking for, I'm working. You know, what I'm assessing, I'm looking. So right now with the type of patients that I'm seeing, like that I've seen the past several months, because like I said, it varies. the majority of what I'm looking for is balance and gait speed, which is just how fast they walk.
How fast they walk.
Because with home care, my number one goal is to make sure that they're safe in the home, that they can navigate everything, you know, they're not at risk for falls, and that they're safe getting to the car. You know, if they could get in and out of the home safely, they're safe inside the home, and they could get to the car and, you know, get to a doctor's appointment. You know, at that point, if they still need therapy, they go to outpatient. So the first thing I look for is balance. Well, you know, before I even do that, I'm assessing the home. You know, if I go into a home, there's a bunch of, you know, rugs on the floor. You know, rugs and mats are the second leading causes of falls in the home.
Oh, wow.
I tell them which ones they could remove, which ones to keep. You know, if they don't have a nightlight, I tell them, you know, especially depending on what sort of conditions they have, I tell them get a nightlight. You know, I once worked with someone that, you know, they decided not to put on the light when they got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. They tripped on something, landed the wrong way, and they're paralyzed.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so, you know, and then obviously, you know, they went to the hospital, and I work with them after that. So it's, you know, rugs, night lights, especially for your really older people, grab bars. I tell them to put grab bars in the home. And, you know, like I said, I've been to some nice homes where they're like, oh, it's going to throw off the look of the home. There's decorative grab bars.
Oh, wow.
To, if there's any seniors out there listening to Dom's podcast, there's decorative grab bars.
Feel free to share it with them if they are listening. Shout out to the old people. I mean, the seniors.
So I look for balance. Balance is important. And then also I look at the speed of how they walk, because there's a connection between them. And, you know, we work on making sure, like, if they need, like, you know, an assisted device, a cane, or a walker to improve that speed, that they have that. Because, you know, just because someone could walk doesn't mean that they should, you know. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, I worked with, you know, a lady who could walk but was slow, you know, and I had to make sure, you know, she was fast enough to the point where she could get to her car before she fatigued.
Oh, wow.
If she needed to cross the street, she could cross the street in enough time, you know. So those are the two things I've been looking for recently now. Yeah.
Do you tell people to get that one seat thingy that you put in your chair? Like, you know, like the escalator for seat thing that you have, like, to go up the steps?
Oh, the chair lift.
I think that thing is so cool, but like, I hope I would never need it, but like.
Yeah. So the thing with physical therapy is I have to be careful what I recommend, because it's, if I give you something, right? Whatever muscle, whatever you were using before to help you accomplish that task, you won't be using it anymore.
That's true.
So if I just tell everyone to get a chairlift, their ability to go up and down steps kind of pretty much goes away. You know, so the people that are just completely dangerous, you know, it's dangerous for them to attempt going up the steps. You're really elderly people. That's who I get. You know, that's who I tell to put a chairlift in. If it's just someone that is just deconditioned, but they, you know, and just, you know, some exercises and they're strong enough to climb steps, yeah, they don't need it in their home. You know, we'll work you, we'll get you stronger, we'll get you up and down the steps. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's very, very true, yeah.
That is very true. Very true. So many different things, from training to eating to school stuff. Definitely, if you don't use it, you definitely will lose it. That's definitely something that people have to understand better, whether from a movement standpoint or an exercise standpoint. But I also think that, I feel like it's kind of the same way it is with like some of those diet pills and stuff. Like, you can always find like an easier way to get out of doing the exercises or like not doing it. Because I know a lot of times, most of the time, what you do for them to get better, they have to do what you tell them to do, but they have to do some kind of homework too, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
And people generally don't want to do their homework most of the time, I feel like.
No. There's actually a study. So when I give someone, it's called a home exercise program. Because, you know, for a lot of patients, I see them anywhere between 1 to 3 times a week. And, let's say I'm seeing you 3 times a week. You got to think, how many hours is there in a week? And I'm only working with you for 3 hours. There's not going to be that much change. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing your homework, your home exercise program, and I'll tell people with certain exercises, do this, 2 times a day. Like, if you're consistently putting in the work, the results will show. Mm-hmm. But there's studies that show if you want people to stick with a certain program, don't give them any more than 4 exercises. So I'll give them the exercises that I know will help, but I'll also tell them, no matter what, try to hit these 4, because especially with, certain patients I work with, they have doctor's appointments, like crazy. Mm-hmm. So their schedule might be a little bit filled. So I'll say, listen, these are the exercises that I recommend that you do. But if you have a busy day, please try to hit these 4. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of in their hands, whether they're going to do them or not. But the ones that really follow through, they have good results at the end. They have very good outcomes. Mm. Yeah.
Mm. Get in what you put out. Mm-hmm. Get in what you put in. Something like that. That'll work on the
I'm not even gonna attempt that one. I'm too tired. I'm not even gonna attempt to fix that one.
I have this theory that like I'm just gonna spend the whole rest the next 20 years, maybe next 40 years of my life just saying things that like I think sound good, that sound horrible. Mm-hmm. But by the time I'm like 80 years old, I'm like a grandpa and be like so wise. I'll be like, oh yes. A journey of 1,000 battles starts with the first step, and I'll be able to make up new ones like on the spot.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just going through like the dark stages of like, man, they don't really sound good and they don't make sense. But 20 years from now, I'm gonna be real good, real good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So me and Steve go way back. Back to the days when we were just little kids, trying to understand the world as teenagers, and. It's so funny how we go from like conversations of like, how to talk to girls on the bus to talking about podcasts, about physical therapy, like day-to-day day-to-day of the occupation of a physical therapist. So the spectrum of what we've done has just been so much. Do you feel like how do you feel us being here at this stage now?
Honestly, I feel blessed. I really do. It's humbling. I don't even know how we made it. I know how that sounds terrible. I don't know how we made it here. Because like Don was saying, there was a time where it's like, I remember we'd be on the late bus. A girl would ask us for a piece of gum, and we just yes, like. Getting brownie points, and then we'd say hi to them. They'd be like, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
man. So there was times where we were just try to figure things out, like what are we gonna do, how are things gonna pan out in the future, and we just went from that to just what we're doing now, and It doesn't really hit me until you actually like tell me to think about it out loud. Like we've come a long way, and
we have,
and
we have,
yeah, we have. Yeah.
Holy smokes, we have, man. Just even the thought process, like things we're thinking about, we're like, yeah, this and that. We're looking at, we're matching watches with pants, like these things, back when we used to. Me and Steve and I also both worked at McDonald's for our first job. Shout out to McDonald's in Marlton, gang. Represent class of 2011.
They definitely forget about us.
Oh, 100%.
They don't remember us.
Oh, man. They had us back there flipping patties like SpongeBob, man. We're not even going to talk about how they had, like, anybody got, I don't know I even applied for it, but they were like, yes, the grilling. Like, it wasn't even an option for me. They just let us in, and the first thing they did have us back there was like, you guys are getting on the grill. And you remember the one dude back there, the dude Mark?
Yeah.
He was just like, he was always so, like, you could tell he was a salty dude, man. Like
he was a McDonald's veteran, man. He was I don't know what happened to make him so jaded, but he just knew everything. He could grill, he could fry, you know.
He knew everything.
He knew he could do the register. He could make sandwich. He could make sandwiches extremely fast. Like he was just like you ever see those TV shows and it's like the buddy cop movies and it's a new optimistic guy and this old jaded cop that's just he's working just so he could get the pension. That's what he reminds me of. That's who he is.
That's definitely the best way to describe it, man.
Yeah. I told you about the time I accidentally my first day working at McDonald's, first day, because Dom, it's true. You know, you just apply and they size you up and they're like, you're going to be in the grill, you know, and someone else will apply and it's like, you're just going to be on the register. They size you up. So first day I was on the grill and I was working late night and, you know, I was supposed to sweep. You know, I was supposed to take the mop and the bucket and sweep the grounds. And then, you know, the way the tiles at McDonald's is, one of the wheels got caught in one of, like, I guess the divots, and the whole bucket of just dirty water slipped out everywhere. Here comes Mark, and he's carrying like 4 milkshakes and like 2 bags worth of food. And he's like, all right, Steve, have a good night. You know, he opens that little door between like the register and where everyone else is walking, slips. He didn't fall, thank God. He didn't fall. But he's like, ah, shit. And then just like pour all his milkshake just goes flying everywhere. And I just look at him. I was like, it's my first day. It's my first day. He wasn't mad, but he's like, you're leaving until this is all cleaned up.
Oh, man. Yeah, man. That was a very great first spot to work, man. Learned a lot of things, a lot of different avenues of what you can do. But I was like, yeah, I ain't doing this shit for the rest of my life. Like, this gotta go. Oh, man. And then when I worked there, I was still 17 when I worked there, so I couldn't stay past 11. Legally, like, yeah, in Jersey, you had to be out before 11. So, like, I remember doing stuff. I remember washing dishes. They always had me do dishes when I was there, too. And they had me in there washing dishes. It was like 10:57. They're like, hey, you got to clock out. And I was like, I'm not done. They're like, it's all right, you work tomorrow, right? And I was like, oh, like, come on. I remember the one dude came and did them for me, but ever since then, after that day, they were like, yeah, you get on dishes earlier, because they didn't want to have to go do them. Mm-hmm. Did you have to wash dishes a lot too back then when you worked?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was grilling, dishes, and sweeping. That's what it was. And it's like, thank God for the machines. I just throw everything in the machine, run it like a washer, and then just, you know, take it out, you know, scrub it a little bit, rinse it, and put it on the drying rack. But, you know, at that, it was wherever they needed help. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what you do. One time I even worked one of the windows.
Yeah, I never got a chance to work the windows. I was a little jealous. I always wanted to be a cashier, though. It looked so much more fun. I was like, plus you don't got to do all this hot shit. Like, you ain't getting burned. I got some burns in that oven. I mean, that that
yeah.
grill.
No. Because we had to clean the grill, too.
Yeah, though.
And sometimes, you know, especially in the beginning, the stuff they wanted you to do to clean the grill, it's a big grill. You got to put your arm all the way in the back. Have you ever played Operation? And it's like when you touch the sides, that's what happened. I put my arm back there and like shit, you know, it took me a while. I still have like, I don't know. There's definitely some spots still from that. Still, yeah, because it is hot. It is, isn't it? You know.
McDonald's battle scars, man. McDonald's battle scars. We come a long way, man. I just think about them things. I'm like, yeah, we've come a long way, long way. But remember when we used to when we first started hanging out together, going in the weight room, and we used to walk like 20 minutes from where we lived to our high school during the summer, and just work out at the gym with the football team. And you know, like, I played for the team, but Steve didn't play. But Steve definitely got like football team respect for being in there all the time when he came in. Cause we used to do like 2 to 3 times a week, right?
Yeah. I was like, because I was a cross country and a track runner, and I wanted to be a runner, and it was like, this is what you have to lift. You can't just run 24/7. You have to, work on these muscles to be a good runner. That's what I would do. And I remember the walks were fun.
Yeah, they were.
They were very fun. And then we'd get in the weight room and, you guys would be doing heavy weights. And I'd just be like doing push-ups on Bosu balls. And,
It definitely was very funny.
I'd be doing something completely different.
And then like functional fitness definitely wasn't like what it was back then. So it was like, yeah, what's this guy doing over here? Like doing Bosu ball push-ups and like stability legs. We didn't even have a TRX. He's making a TRX out of the bands. Like just getting like makeshift stuff over there.
Have you seen the weight room recently?
I haven't.
It's like it's a gym. They have like actual equipment.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. That's how it is, right? The second you leave, shit starts getting real nice. Like all of a sudden, they got gourmet food. Oh my god!
I remember back then it was just, pure weights, a squat rack, and like a mat.
Yeah.
And a pull-up bar.
And we had the cougar that was painted on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our high school team with the Cougars. And I remember the cougar like had its teeth punched out. It was like a cinder block wall. But where the cougar's mouth was, it's just a hole in the wall. And I never knew where that hole came from. Like back when we were there was this big hole in the wall.
Yeah.
That was up. And I was trying to figure out what it was from. Because it was in a spot I know you weren't like throwing away to do it. And I still don't know to this day where it came from. But it's just funny like how much that place has changed. But it was all about getting back in the day. On there, I used to just bench every single day. Like, I feel like benching, we probably benched more than Danny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely, it wasn't until graduate school I realized that I definitely have just an imbalance of certain muscles.
Yeah.
Like you could bench a lot, but when it comes to doing rows, it was embarrassing. I was like, well, I just never really... Because when you're that young, you only work out the muscles you see in the mirror. You don't even realize there's other muscles you should be working out. It throws off your posture. It's a disaster. But benching was that's what there was a line. There's a line.
That's it.
And everyone had that one. There was like I think there were like 2 or 3 different benches. And it's like everyone had that one that they wanted. Yeah. Do you remember that? The really, really nice one?
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, man. It's so funny. It was like bench every single day. Like
every single day.
Every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason I even understand like so much about mobility and corrective exercise and body movement stuff is because I used to bench all the time and like never we just put the weights on the bar and just go. I definitely have some like shoulder issues now that I have to be a lot more conscious of when I do other things. So I'm just like so like informed. Like but that pain and struggle of them definitely made me see how important that stuff is for like taking care of yourself. Cooling down, warming up, rolling, all those things. That process of making sure your muscles is moves as well as you want it to perform is super important. So all you kids listening out there, warm up, cool down, stretch out. Shit, if you're not a kid, do that anyway. But like if you start with these habits young, you'll save yourself a lot of injury in the future and kind of be able to progress and grow into who you want to be.
Yeah, and definitely, from a PT perspective, mobility is huge. Make sure you're loose and you stay flexible because part of aging, if you look at a lot of senior citizens, one of the first things to go is just that mobility. Senior citizens, they're just not as flexible and, they tend to be a little bit more rigid than they used to be. And, especially with PT, no matter which population or who I'm working it with, whether it's an athlete or even, a senior citizen, mobility always comes before strength because, like Dom's talking about, he has a shoulder injury and, he can make all those muscles as super strong. But, if he can't lift up his shoulder enough to wash his hair, or if he can't put his arm behind him, to put on a belt or something, that strength is kind of, it's kind of useless, so definitely, mobility over strength. You have mobility, the strength will come. So that's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. And, being young and dumb, you always just want to do whatever the cool thing is, give you the most street cred.
That's what sucks. By the time you realize that you messed up, it's already too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I could have did way more calves. I've been waiting for long my calf game now, but, we got some catching up to do.
Yeah, you couldn't have done. People would have definitely made fun of you.
You training calves? Like, what? Get your bitch ass out of here. Like,
he's like, are you going to get in line for the bench? What are you doing training calves?
What are you, a loser? Like,
you couldn't have done calves.
You can't do calves. Like, even back wasn't like not even as cool. Like, people were just like, nah. Bench. Like, how much you benching, bro? Bench.
I think maybe that's why I got away doing the exercise I did, because I did a different sport. So people were like, what are you doing? It's for running. It's like, oh, okay. Okay. I'm like, I get, okay. No problem.
I feel like as long as you answer with enough confidence, anything that you're doing that like is not in the norm, I feel like you can kind of get away with it. You could have been doing like Pilates moves in there, and it'd be like, no, I'm running. All right.
It's for running.
It's for tennis, like whatever it was, as long as you had something that kind of worked with it, which is just funny because like it really shouldn't matter either way. It's like a public gym, open hours.
Yeah, even looking back, that I couldn't even believe I did that. Just looking back, because in the moment you're like, oh, I have a goal, I need to be strong to be a better runner. Let me go do it. But looking back, that gym was for football players. Mm-hmm. I was a cross country runner. It was just for you guys for that specific hour. Mm-hmm. I would just show up and do something that, like, you guys would show up. I remember you guys would go to the another gym, the basketball court, and he'd go over, the football coach would go over what you're supposed to do. I'm just in the gym by myself, putting my Bosu balls down, my little weights to the side and getting started on my routine. You guys would just come there. It's like, I don't know. I can't believe I did that because I wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I just showed up and no one kicked me out. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do what I need to do.
Yeah, it's pretty ballsy now I think about it now. Mm-hmm. Especially because football players on the at least according to TV, that's where all like the meanest kids are. Like, yeah, football, blah, 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 blah. Like the guy who's always like the jock, that's the mean guy, is always the football player guy, which is just so funny. Like the media just, it makes things seem so much funnier than what they need to be. Mm-hmm. I actually I met like these kids who were homeschooled, and long story short, we used to go back to East and do like presentations of like exercise and stuff.
Yeah.
After I graduated, but we took the kids that we met from homeschool, and it was like their first time in high school because they were homeschooled, obviously. And they're like, "Oh, like where are the cheerleaders?" Because they're like, if you didn't know, like if you only looked at high school from like TV shows, it's just like football, like the athletes and the cheerleaders. And I was like, that's still pretty funny to think about it. Because like it's definitely not like that at all, but it's just funny to think about how TV portrays it.
I remember when we got into middle school, and it's like, oh, there's gonna be cheerleaders, and then it's like you see them, and they just jump up and clap, and I was like, oh, okay. Because it's like you see it on TV, it's like they're doing like cartwheels, backflips, front flips. They're like putting like three people come together, throw someone like high in the air. Then you get into middle school and it's like they just jump.
Yeah,
it wasn't even coordinated. Like there was that, you definitely know there was that one person that didn't even really leave the ground, and then they just clap at the end. I was like, oh, okay, this is what real life is.
There's the little toe thing, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh man. There's so many things that are so funny. So funny, man. The stuff we used to worry about back in the day is just too much.
We used to worry about the dumbest stuff.
Like even like what shoes you had on, like all that stuff. It just.
Well, remember I made a game out of it. Because I had on. Were you there when I convinced people I had like the latest? Like newest, freshest Air Force, like Volume 2 limited edition platinum, and people believe that. And I don't know, I had on like FUBUs or something. People believed it, and it's like You would ask people, hey, what type of shoes does Steve have? Oh, he got on them new Air Force. No one checked. No one checked. No one even really checked. I was like, it was funny. But yeah, we did worry about that.
Oh man, what are those?
Those were hilarious. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and all the things used to make fun of each other for, like, yo, you're so black, like you're so dark, like that's crazy.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
your head's so big, like your nose is so big. It's just such funny.
And you had to know how to, like, what are you gonna say back, because it's like, you know it's coming. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, when people start making fun of each other, you know, if someone drops the "you're so dark," I'm standing in there like, all right, let me size this person up and think of my comeback, because in the next couple minutes, I'm next.
You just know, because like we would just go into that circle every morning. Even when we first got to school, we would just go in the circle with all the seniors.
I don't even know how we got in that circle. I don't know how we
got in that circle either.
We just found ourselves standing there.
And they would just start attacking each other, just all roasting each other. And we were like, like, when one false move, we're next on the list. Do
you remember there was a day where they asked why, like, because I don't know how we got in that circle, because we're freshmen. It's a circle, like, because you know, in the morning before class starts, like, you know, kids are just, you know, huddled outside, and we were just in a group of seniors. I don't know how we got in there. We're all freshmen. And I want to say, like, 7 months into our freshman year, they asked themselves that question too. They were like, wait a minute, how did you guys get here? You know, and I think I got kicked out one day. There was a day where they're like, please escort Steven out of the group. And someone just stood in front of me and slowly backed up until I was out of the circle. And I was like, damn. And the funny thing is, you just watched that happen. You had a look in your eyes like, listen, I'm not trying to get kicked out of this circle. You just watched me just slowly get pushed out. I was like, I'll give it I was back the next week though.
Talk about high school incidents. Fine, your boy gets kicked out. It's like, oh, well, that should happen to me though.
They look at you, they're like, wait a minute, where did you come from? We've been there for 7 months. It's like, please escort Steve out of the circle.
Oh man, I don't remember what you did to get voted off the island.
I don't know what happened. I mean, it wasn't bad enough. I was back the next week, but I just remember I was like, that was devastating. I was like, man, how am I gonna, you know, because you're young. It's like, how am I gonna get past this? And it's like, looking back, it's hilarious the things we used to worry about.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious how you watch. That was funny, because you know, if the roles were flipped, I would actually, at the age I was, not only would I watch, I'd be laughing as they were pushing you out. Like, at least you look sad. I would just be laughing. I'd be like, oh man, wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
That's the best part. Like, you know, we go back so long that, like, you know, we're here for each other's you know, greatest moments and worst moments at the same time. Mm-hmm. But so, you know, after everything that happens to us, any moment in time, like, you know, we'll wait a little bit, you know, we'll give it some time to heal, wherever that moment is. Then we'll look at each other and be like, hey man, like, from that one episode of Boondocks, we'll be like, yeah man, like, I'm really proud of you or whatever. So I'm very sad it happened to you, but damn, when that happened, the first thing I thought in my head was like, would not let that shit happen to me, no.
And like, our savage moments is when we don't even wait for time to pass. Like, I just tell you, dang man, I don't think I got the job. The job interview went terrible. And like, the first words out, wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
Oh man. Oh man, that's so funny. One of the funniest things that happened was that moving out here from Jersey. In Jersey, for all you guys who aren't from Jersey listening, we don't pump our own gas at all. So like, I had no idea how to pump gas, like, at all. Like, I might have pumped gas like 4 times before I moved here. I do that more now, but so I went to LA to visit Ozzy, and long story short, I ended up putting diesel fuel in my car, and that didn't end too well for me. Car ended up breaking down. You know, I was stuck in LA for like 6 days. Luckily, I stayed at my friend's house, and it cost me like $800 and something to like get it fixed and get the stuff removed. It was a process. Anyway, you know, I tell my good friend Steve, you know, telling him about the dangers of oil and how, you know, I wish I knew things a little better. And he's there giving me a lending, supportful ear. Oh man, like I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're alive. But once that window of like, okay, everything worked out, it's okay.
He said, "Are you hurt? No. You okay? Yes." I just started laughing.
And I just got a random call one day. He's like, "Hey man, I can hope you're doing all right. Hope everything's going okay." He was like, I'm glad that diesel thing, everything worked out. But my first thing I thought when you went through that shit, I was like, I would not let that shit happen to me.
I said, I think I called you 2 weeks after. I was like, "How's your car?" He's like, "Oh no, the car's good. Car's fine. I'm driving it." I'm like, okay. How you doing emotionally? Emotionally, I'm good. It's like, all right, yeah. Remember that time you pumped diesel? Yes. Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though. And
oh man, it's a great moment in time when everything worked out, but we had to make lighthearted of all the dangers and situations that happen.
Yeah, and it's only funny when things work out.
Yeah,
obviously if it didn't work out, it's a different story. But like, when for all the bullets we've dodged and the near misses, when things just work out just fine, that's when that saying is hilarious.
Oh man, so many good sayings, Like it's just, I don't even know, man. It's just such a process. There's such a enlightenment, making lighthearted everything that we do.
Yo, one other story. Do you know how you said we really cared about some of the dumbest stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember in high school there was a girl you liked, and I remember we were on the late bus, and one of our friends on the late bus was saying goodbye to that girl, and I was like, "Hey, you can't talk to that girl. Dom's trying to talk to that girl." And I think either the girl's best friend or someone was on the bus, and I turned around. You were so pissed because that the girl's best friend definitely just texted her saying Dom likes you. And it's like, at that age, the quickest way to get someone not to like you is if they find out that you like them. So, you were so pissed. It actually almost killed the friendship. Like, you were so mad. Correct me if I'm wrong. You got off like 2 or 3 stops earlier.
I did.
Just so we wouldn't even walk together. You were so mad. You yelled at me. You gave me the silent treatment. You walked to the front of the bus. We wasn't even sitting together. And then, because we were the last stops on the late bus, you got off like 3 stops earlier and just yelled, "I'm not walking with you. Don't talk to me."
Obviously, everything's better now. But even thinking about it now, I was pissed.
That was a crisis. That was a.
Are you kidding me? You can't do this to me.
He said, "It's all over. It's over."
Like, the worst part about betrayal is that it never comes from an enemy.
You know the funny thing is, the guy that tried to talk to her, as soon as I said, no, that's Dom's, he was completely understanding. He was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay, no problem." The only person that was torn up about it was you. Everyone was fine. He's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." Sat back down, minded his own business. I turn around, you're just like, "What have you done?" Oh, that's what also the problem was. My voice projects. I have a very loud voice. The girl you like definitely heard me saying that too. And I know because she had that awkward look on her face like, I'm sorry, Dom.
Oh, man. Oh, the dark sides of being younger. So funny. I don't remember what even happened. Like, I don't remember if we just, like, let it go over or, like, I don't know. I was definitely mad at the moment.
You were mad. I don't know how we patched things up.
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know. But you were definitely mad. Maybe I convinced you that she didn't hear me. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's still so funny. So funny. Holy smokes. The things you used to do to like impress girls back in the day is absolutely insane. Like just so much stuff that's just like young kids, young mindset. That's all I gotta say about that. That's all I gotta say about that indeed.
And the crazy thing is, like, especially the talks we've had, we've matured so much, you know, that 5 years from now, we're going to be looking at the stuff we did now and be like, oh, that we really got worked up over something that wasn't even really that serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're always coming to that conclusion that the stuff we worried about last year wasn't even that, you know.
It wasn't even that at all. Like, not that serious. Really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Well, Steve, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Like I said, you know, super pumped to have you out here spreading some California vibes, showing you what's up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of everyone just walking around right now.
Yeah.
For anybody that wants to like contact you and get some more information about you, can you give them like your work email or anything, or like? I know you don't have an Instagram or Twitter or anything.
Yeah. I've just been so busy. I haven't really had any time to set up any other social media. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll give you my email, you know, put it on the link. And anyone that has any questions, you know, from the perspective of, you know, someone who wants to be a physical therapist, you know, what the process is like, any tips for schooling for those that are in PT school, you know, more than welcome to contact me. And for people, you know, let's say you're going through something on the other side, and is PT something that could help me? Is it not? You know, also feel free to reach out as well, and I can give some general advice and information on that as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the email?
Oh, so almost perfect. So my email is all lowercase, one word. It's STE, V as in Victor, E, OMARI 62 at gmail.com.
Gmail, baby, at Gmail. So you got the email, guys. Steve, thanks so much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Guys, thanks so much for listening, and take care.